Welcome to Issues and Insiders. Felix Klieser is an extraordinary musician who plays the horn with his left foot in the absence of arms. For more on his tale, his trade and his thoughts, I have him here in the studio today. Mr. Klieser, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
Right, now Mr. Klieser, at the age of 4, I understand you expressed a desire, that is, to play the horn. What was the inspiration behind this particular desire?
That's a very good question, because I don't have a really good answer for this. So I was 4 years old, and I went to my parents and said, I want to learn the French horn. And my parents looked at me and asked me, okay, what is a French horn? How does it look like? So they were not familiar with that instrument. So my family and around, there was no one making music. There was no one playing an instrument. Even for Christmas period, a little Christmas song at the piano, no one was playing. So it's a little miracle where I've seen the instrument the very first time, and where I got in contact with that instrument. But I still remember that I wanted to play exactly that instrument.
Right, I see. I understand. So you went to school as well, and you told you had one French horn teacher at school. Am I right?
Yeah. So I started I grew up in Göttingen. It's a very small town, traditional town in the middle of Germany. And there was one music school, and in that music school there was one horn teacher. So it was easy to make a choice where I should go. So I went to that horn teacher, and there I started to learn the French horn. But then later I moved to when I was 13, I moved to the College of Music to Hanover.
I understand that the French horn, or the horn itself actually, is one of the most difficult musical instruments to play. Could you explain that for us?
Oh, well, yeah, I heard it so many times. The thing is, I never played something else, so I cannot compare if it's the most difficult thing. But for everyone who does not really know how it works, I can teach you to play horn in 30 seconds. You know, it's very easy. So the thing about the French horn is you blow lips through your, you blow air through your lips, like. You know, when kids are on a car and try to imitate the noise of a car, then they do. And when you use the muscles in your lips like this, then the sound is a little bit more like. And when you change the muscles in your lips, then it's like. So you can play everything, and this is the thing how you learn the French horn. And the problem, of course, is when you play an instrument just with remembering how much energy you use, how much air you use, it's very difficult to catch the right note in the right moment, because you have no visual feedback. You know, when you have a violin, you have a string, and you can see how long is the string and where's a half step, where's a quarter step. But these are all the things you don't have with a French horn. So you have to memory exactly how much energy you need for which note. So
you need to have great lung capacity, though.
Yes, of course, but it's more the trick that you use the air really effective. So it's not like blowing as much air as you can out of your body. It's more the control of the air, and that you use the air very carefully.
Right. For people who do play the horn using their hands, I understand one is placed on the valves and the other on an opening, is it? I'm not sure.
The bell.
The bell. How do you overcome these challenges?
Well, it's very interesting, because usually a horn player has a right hand in the bell, and this is because of historical things. But you can imagine the sound comes out of the bell, and when you have a speaker at home and you play a song there, and then you put a paper or something into the speaker, then the sound is different. And that's the same with the instrument. So when you put a hand into the bell, then the sound of the instrument is different. And of course, I was in the situation that I had to create the same sound without a hand in the bell than like a horn player with the hand in the bell. So this was a very tricky thing, and it's not so easy to explain how you can do this. But it's like you do something, you know. It's like cooking. You know, when you cook and you don't have an idea what you want to cook, then you combine many things.
Fusion.
Yeah. And then you eat it, and then you say, oh, it's very tasty, or no, it does not taste very well. And when it's very tasty, then you say, okay, I will memorize this plan, and then the next time I will do it again and again and again, and I try this and that, and in the end you have a very good meal. And that's a little bit the same system with learning the French horn. You do something, and then you listen to yourself. Are the things you're doing helpful? Is the sound more in the way you want? then you go on this way, and if it's not good or if it's getting more worse, then you stop the way and then you try a different way. So it's try and error.
Right, I see. Mr. Klieser, critics, they say that you are a virtuoso with renowned accolades to prove your remarkable talent. Now, this is a tough question. Do you suppose talent is something that is innate, or can it be nurtured?
Well, I'm not a big fan of talent, because so many people think that the things they can do in their life is something given by God. You know, when you have talent for something, then you can do it. When you have no talent, then you're a poor guy. And I like more the idea that you can do everything what you want with your own decision. So when you dream of something, when you're fascinated of something, you have so many possibilities to change things in your life. So it's not easy. Sometimes it's very difficult and tough and hard. So it's not easy for everyone. But I think we all have more possibilities to change something in our life than we think. And it's not something which is given by God, or which is a question of how much talent you have. We all have the control of what we do and what we are not doing.
Right. So essentially the wisdom is where there is a will, there is a way then.
Maybe, yeah. So I like, the idea. So there are so many young people don't know what they should do in life, and I think it's sometimes really difficult for them because they grew up in a society, especially in Germany, where the society expects something from them. They should be good at school, they should be good in college, and then they should find a good job. And when they did all the steps, then everything is fine. But there are many people, they're not happy with this way of life, but they don't know which alternatives they have, what things they can do. So when I was 15 or 16 years old, no one was thinking that in my situation, learning the French horn and doing this as a professional would be a good idea. No one was thinking this. So, but it was my dream, and I trust in myself. And now I'm sitting here talking with you and playing concerts and have the possibility to travel around the world, meeting interesting people. But all these things are just possible because I believed in myself, and I, was not hearing that much about people saying that it's not possible. And this is something which is for me very, very important, because when you trust in yourself and when you're really fascinated in something, and when you have a dream, and when you are able to fight for your dream, then you can have a very, very interesting life.
Right, some very powerful words right there. Mr. Klieser, what are your thoughts on the rule of thumb that 10,000 hours of practice in any field will make you a professional? It's a very controversial theory itself, but what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, of course. When you want to do some sports or learn an instrument, it takes many of hours. But, being a musician, I compare this more than, when someone asks me why I'm so fascinated with music, the answer is always, I'm not that much fascinated about music, I'm more fascinated about people. So, of course, you have to learn your instrument and you have to play your instrument as good as possible, but in the end, you are an artist. And as an artist, you have to tell stories, and you have to share emotions, and you have to, give people a beautiful time. So, the thing I'm more interested in how good I can play an instrument is to be interested in people, in their lives, in their thoughts, what they love, what they like, what they hate. So this is something I'm really fascinated about it, and this is something I want to change or to share with making music.
Right, and that being said, Mr. Klieser, what have been some of your most memorable moments?
Oh wow, it's very. There are many moments I like to remember, but maybe one of the most exciting thing was I was very young, I was still in school, and Sting, the pop singer, had a big tour with his famous songs, so Every Breath You Take, Englishman in New York, and there was an arrangement for him, his band, and a small orchestra. And I played in the orchestra in the German concert too. So this was a very great experience because before I just played my classical concerts, and you know, in classical concerts everything is serious, everyone is sitting very quiet in the hall, and after the piece they're clapping, and so everything is really serious. But playing this kind of music with him was, you know, the audience was so enthusiastic, and the reaction was so easy to understand, you know what I mean? So it was so directly. And I was really fascinated about it, and this was a point where I got a different view of making music, away from thinking that everything should be perfect, more in the way that I want to be more in contact with people and share emotions and stories with people, and to give them a beautiful time. So this changed a lot in my life.
Right, I see. What are some of your future plans now?
Oh, it's difficult to say, because I'm not in this part of my life anymore that I'm just thinking about, okay, I want to play with this orchestra, in this hall, with this conductor. I enjoy what I do, and I never thought that the things I'm doing now would be possible for a horn player. I never was thinking that this is possible. So I'm very grateful for the things I'm allowed to do now, and I'm very happy. And so every day is sometimes a surprise, and something happens, and new possibilities are coming. That I love to think a little bit more that my life is not a strict system. It's more an open world, and when you open, you know, your mind and your way of thinking for what happens around you, then you can make great experiences. And this is the thing I think more, and this is very nice to have this possibility.
Right, to look at every day as a new adventure, perhaps.
Yes.
Then. And finally, before you leave us, Mr. Klieser, what message do you care to share with our audience?
You know, the most important thing is that people understand that music is something beautiful, and that music is there for everyone, beside where people are from, what they sing, which cultural backgrounds they have, which education they have. So music is something for enjoying, for to share love with other people, and to connect all the people over the world. And so the things I learned about my life with traveling and having the chance to meet so many people is that we are all more closer to each other than we think. So we are not so different than we think from time to time. So that's very important. So when people are able to see music as something beautiful, as something which is there to make the world a little bit more beautiful.
Right, to make us all come together then. All right, Mr. Klieser, it's been a pleasure to have you here to learn about your trade and your thoughts, and best of luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you so much.
Right, and we end this edition of Issues and Insiders with Mr. Klieser's earlier performance of Mozart's horn concertos, which he reportedly dreamt of playing at the tender age of 9. Thank you for watching.